Okay, good afternoon, guys. I didn't realise it was Columbus Day. I usually have some. I had something in the news on there, but it's in yellow. I can't read it. It's at the top. It does say holiday, bank holiday. I wasn't aware there was. So Columbus Day. So I'm assuming the markets are closing early today. There has been volume, a reasonable amount, but obviously with the events happening in the Middle East over the weekend, obviously caused that gap when the market opened yesterday. So it'd be interesting to see what happens as you know things unfold in the coming days. But I just wonder whether this is to do with maybe part of because usually we'll recover that. I would have thought we would have recovered it possibly by the end of the day, but we do seem to be having a breakout. But it's hard to know whether it's to do with holiday or what. I don't know. But Columbus Day, I remember it from last year. I can't remember because some holidays they just trade. I usually get an email from Ninja Trader. Let me just see if I've had anything. No. Usually I'll get an email from Ninja Trader or from Apex, and I've had neither, so I don't know. You guys will obviously know more than me, well, you US guys. So, Speedy, most guys trading, do you think, or not? Hey, what's how you doing? So you're off here, but you might have already gone now. So yeah, you have a great day, mate. Have a great day. Tanavar, how you doing? Markets open today. Next holiday for the market's Thanksgiving. So markets open as normal today, is it, Jay? Or does it close early? I'm assuming if it is open normally, it may the volume may just be a little bit low. Got 3 points already. Good on you. You took something here, did you? I was looking at this. There was a sort of failure there, and I think that might have been the better one because we pushed that and we came across, didn't we, there? Or maybe the high-low. The trouble is, I did look at that, but going into this area, that made me a little bit nervous, but you'd have certainly got a few points out of it, that's for certain. So I'm wondering whether we are going to recover this pretty quickly. Now we're out the top or what, I don't really know, so we'll have to see about that. Took that higher high. Yeah, I guess there may have been a couple there. I did look at it. The trouble is, I just get a bit nervous going into the tops because you don't know whether it's going to trigger and come back down. Having said that, we've been up here, but it's only really one area, isn't it? If it'd been up here multiple times, then maybe not worth taking. But I'll be surprised if a few people don't mind that. I generally leave them, but I do see a lot of people still taking them. It depends how many times. If we'd hit this multiple times, then that may have been a bit risky, but we've only really been up here once, so I don't really think that makes a massive difference. Normal business day today for the market. Excellent. Okay. We'll see what it's like anyway, but we've obviously had this morning, obviously because of what's going on over in Israel. It's the only thing I can think of that would have made that drop like that, really. It's quite not that often we get a drop that much, but we do usually pick it up by the end of the day. But it could turn quite nasty out there in Israel, couldn't it? I've just been watching some of the news now. I know Israel are scaling up. They've called something like 350,000 reservists. So Israel don't hold back, do they? You know, the Palestinians and Israelis have been chucking missiles over each other regularly for quite a long time now. But it's been a while since it's escalated quite this much. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in the markets. But yeah, if you look at this, we have had a bit of sideways here, but you could say that's a breakout, a couple of legs back and another leg up, but we may get a leg up here. So if we can bounce on here, where are we now? Far away. We're about just over a minute away from the market. If we can get a bounce here, then touch. Let's have a look. I mean, I'm quite comfortable. That's a channel. It's fitting quite nice, so we got leg a leg. So if we can get a bounce here, then we'll have to see about that. Let's see how I go on. Hey, Brick, how you doing? So, Woods, how you doing? Speedy, how are you? Tanavara, how are you? Jay, how you doing? And Brick, excellent. So, let's see how we get on today. We'll see how we get on anyway. We'll see how much volume there is. But to the start of it anyway, the market opens in about just over 30 seconds. So, but yeah, by the sounds of things, I think most people trade, don't they? But we'll have to see what happens with the institutional guys. I think most retail traders like you and me will probably, you know, unless it's I mean, in the UK, there's some. I mean, I tend to work bank holidays because obviously, if it's a bank holiday in the UK, it's not in the US. So we tend to not do a lot, really. There are certain bank holidays, obviously, around Christmas and maybe Easter, that we do sort of take time off and that. But obviously, Thanksgiving and that for you guys, obviously, is more of a holiday, really, isn't it? I think. Okay, so we've had a break out of this. Is this going to be a lower high? Are we coming back in? Hard to know at the moment. Hey, Chris, how you doing? So a little bit sideways, I think, there. So I don't know whether we're going to push up. I'd like to think now we're out, we maybe retest this and push up, but you just got to be a bit careful here because it could go either way. I'd like to think it was more likely to go up, but you never know. Let me just open this up a little bit. Yeah. There's no trade there really, although I kind of think it's pushing up. You just never know. Sometimes if you think it's going up, it's very tempted to jump in when you haven't got a setup. And sometimes you can get stung, so this is where you're going to be patient and just wait for a good setup. Let me have a look. It may be a spike in a channel. It could be a bit of a spike in channel there. It's possible. Let me have a look. I'm not sure about that. Okay, that's pushed up, made a new high, and then come back down. So there's probably going to be some longs there that have been triggered. Maybe still some in there, so I don't know what's going to happen here, but it does seem like it's holding, doesn't it? You just don't know, though. Let me have a look at that one. There's a higher low there. There may be some shorts there triggered, so do I take a trade here or do I leave it alone? Okay. Yeah, it's tempted to get in there, but the only thing that may have interested me is a tick above there, but let's see. Yeah, that's something that concerned me. It's tempting to get into something like that. You don't want it to push up to here and miss out on a move, but you just don't know, do you? So it could be a fell breakout. It just could come back in, or it may continue up. See if we can get a higher low here. But it's whether you're prepared to take a risk. Did you reload? I didn't, mate. No. Damn it. I've got a sheet of paper here I fill in every day. I forgot I was going to make that as part of my checklist, daily checklist. Okay, so if you did get in there and you got triggered, you didn't get a lot before it came down and took any potential stops out. See what happens here. I think if you're in here, you probably got your profit. As soon as it starts to go sideways, you're probably in it. You're probably out of that one. So let's have a look. Okay, that's better. That's much better. Okay, so there's quite likely a break there. So would you class that as a break in a new high? I don't know. Let's see if we can get a higher low here, hopefully. So we'll leg back, pull up. Let's have a look. If we can start to move back up here, then I may be interested in there. I'll have to say. See if we can get a higher low. I'm just going to get an order ready just in case something
order
does show.
submitted.
I think it's going to go up without us by the looks of things. Okay.
Order
I think
cancelled.
that's probably gone without us, unfortunately. So I think it's likely we're going to make that. It'd be interesting to see whether we get whether we do push up and recover. I would have expected to. Usually when we do gap down like that, we do usually recover. Just going to get rid of that for the minute. Okay, so push up, 2 attempts to go lower. We have made a new high. Now, if we can get a higher low here, then that may interest me because we've had this leg up, we've had a break. We have made a new high, but we've come back again. If we can bounce now and then make a higher low, that would interest me. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. It is a little bit spiky though, so let's have a little look here. I've got a bigger channel working up. Something like that, you mean, yeah? Yeah, I was looking at that. I was just a bit unsure about it, but now we're out and we're trying to go lower, but I want that to break below here. Let me just get an order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
I need it to break below here though before I get in. Because if you do take it and it doesn't break below, it could trigger you. This market's very clever at weeding out weak positions. But we have had a leg up. We've made 2 attempts to go lower, and both times we've pushed up. We've come back a second time, but obviously it depends where the bottom of that is. You've got to keep it as tight as you can. Let's keep it about there. High or low, really. See, with that, there's been a big drop down there, hasn't there? Obviously, with what's happened in Israel over the weekend. Now, I would guess we would likely. I don't know how that's going to affect the markets in general. Obviously, with what happened in Russia has. So it's hard to say, really. So you've just got to be a bit cautious. But we've had a break. See, we could do the other way around. We've had a leg up. We've had a break. We've made 2 attempts to go lower. Now we'll come crashing down. So it's hard to say.
Order cancelled.
So I'm just wondering whether this... okay, what it is doing clearly for me is going sideways. So I'm just a bit cautious now. Because we're going down, we're going up, we're going down, we're going up. So that's just pure chop for me. And it is getting a little bit volatile. Now and again, it'll just have a quick spike. So it's hard to say. I don't want to get trapped here because it could come down and then that's a fair old chunky bar. That's got to be the best part of 4.5 points. Tick above, tick below, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, 4 3/4 points. It's too much risk, that is, for me. And in all fairness, it is going sideways, so extra caution there. 1 minute, it's looking bullish. Next minute, it's looking bearish. It is working up, though, so if we can get above here and then come back and retest, then. Okay, so we've made a high after all this lot, from all this lot, so maybe there is a bigger trend channel there. I have and ahh'd about it. So we pushed up, we had 2 legs back, we pushed up again, a couple of legs back. So it's hard to say, but it does look a bit trappy. So this is where you got to make the right decisions. It's certainly, we pushed up, we had a break now, we made 2 more attempts to go. It is looking like it's pushing up. Trouble is, do you want to take a trade up there? No. I'd like it to come down one more time. I don't think it will, though. It is looking bullish for me, but there's just no real setup. I don't like that one. It's nearly the full length of that bit of sideways there, and it didn't quite get to the bottom, so it could trigger and stop you out, and then bounce off here again. Sort of more really confirming that channel, but it does seem to be working that tier. But I'd like it to come back here first. It's just too far up. You just don't know whether it's going to trigger you in turn. Well, we're glad to hear you're back trading, Pats. Yeah, I have this week, really. I just had a think over the weekend, but the trouble is, I'm not saying the Penguin style is not a good system. What I am saying, I've spent 2.5 years of my life studying Pats, and the real issue with me is just the psychological side, not the strategy side. So the sensible thing to do is just to stick what I know. You don't want to spend 2.5 years learning something. The amount of hours I've put in, I can tell you, is a bloody lot. And I don't want to chuck that away, because the clear, obvious problem is my psychology. It's nothing to do with the strategy. So I need to just focus on one, so I've got rid of everything else. The only other thing I have got is a slightly higher time frame above my head. That's all. I've got rid of Bookmap, because in all honesty, the price action clearly tells you everything you need to know. Okay, so you may call that a high or low. It's hard to say. There's probably going to be some stops up there, but I just don't know here, because if you do say that's a channel we've touched, it could trigger you and come down here. We could have like a leg and then push up, so it could stop you out. It could trigger you, stop you out, and then end up going up anyway. But it is looking bullish to me. If we have been, if this is any part of a range here, we've clearly bounced around it multiple times, and we keep pushing up from it. So I'd say, with the right setup, I would say it would continue up till at least there. Now, there's probably going to be some stops there. I wouldn't want to go in here, in all fairness, but it probably is going to push up from there. You know, when it looks like it's going to go, it usually does go. But in all fairness, that tick didn't stay down here. So it's just, and not only that, I can usually tell when it's going to go. But in all fairness, I'm itching to get in. But look at that. You've just got to be so careful there, because you just don't know. Now, if I had to bet money, I'd bet that was going to go up from there, and it did. But if I take a trade and it's not a real setup, I'll kick myself. And if I post that later on the group, they'll go, "Why the hell did you trade like that?" So it's one of those things. You know, you see that move, you pretty much know where it's going to go. I mean, look at that. Look at that. I pretty much knew it was going to go there, but the trouble is, I have to wait for a good setup to take it. And I know sometimes you've got to let stuff go by, but that's how you get a high win percentage rate. You just wait for those setups. And if it's not a good setup, even though you know pretty much, you pretty much know where it's going, you just can't do nothing about it, unfortunately. It is frustrating to see it move there, but guaranteed, the time you decide, and I've done it myself plenty of times, the time you decide, "I'll bugger it, let's just jump in, I know where it's going," it triggers you and stops you out. It almost happens perfectly. So I've given up now. I've given up just jumping in the market, because it looks to me like it's doing this. And that's how you guarantee, well, I say guarantee, that's how you get a good win percentage. So Ryan, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, that's what I mean. Lance, you got a picture? Yeah. By the way, glad to. Yeah. Okay, so we're up to date there. Excellent. Yeah, we're pretty much. I think it's quite common as part of your trading journey. You get to a place and you feel like, I'm struggling a bit here, and you you listen and you learn and you look around and people say, I use this, I use Bookmap and I use order flow and I use this and I use that. And you can't help but take interest and look into it. And I think it's all part of being a trader. You know, you hear stories, I use these and it does really well for me. And you try and look for an extra crutch, really. And in all fairness, we've all read, it's never the strategy, it's the person. And it clearly is me. It's the psychology that's... Now, I can build accounts. I've built accounts and I've taken money. But the one thing that I made difficult for myself is because I wasn't working and I was living on what money I was taking, and I just wasn't letting it grow sufficiently so I could withdraw money and leave enough in there, leave enough of a cushion in there, and that's purely the problem. And that extra pressure caused me to revenge trade my 4 accounts, which is a damn shame. But, you know, you have to take these lessons and learn them. And what I will say is, if anybody is struggling with someone, look upon it as a lesson, and a useful lesson. You have to experience losing those accounts to get that brain to start accepting these emotions. So you can say, okay, it's a red day. And another thing I'm doing now is using this this trading journal, because I've got no idea what my win rate is. I've got no idea what my equity curves look like over the last 6 months. It might look pretty good, but sometimes you still have in your head, you doubt yourself. But I think having me doing that journal every day, and it's clocking up my trades and it's telling me everything I need to know about my trades, and I can look back in 3 months. The trouble is, as an inexperienced trader, you're based how you're doing, how your career's going, on your last bad day. So if I had a bad day yesterday, knocks your confidence, and I'll be thinking, oh God, am I really going to be able to do this? You start questioning yourself, it knocks your confidence. But if you quickly open up your trading journal and say, hold on a minute, I've taken 75 trades over the last 5 months and I've got an 82% win rate. So does it matter what happened yesterday? No, of course it doesn't. It matters what happened over the last month, 3 months, 6 months. Because ultimately, your big picture, your equity curve, tells you whether you're a successful trader or not. You'll obviously know by the money you're earning if there's money in there, but you have to look at the bigger picture and forget about, you know, a bad day. A bad day doesn't define you as a trader. And Sam told me that. Sam from Fife. We all know Sam. And he told me that. Don't let one bad day define you as a trader. So that's why I've gone more into the journaling every day. So every trade I do now, I incorporate into this this bit of software, and it just gives me a picture of my trading. So it doesn't matter what happened today or what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow. Ultimately, the bigger picture we're looking at. If I lost $700 yesterday and $500 today, but I've made $25,000 over the last 3 months, it makes no difference. A bad day. How much does it cost? Sorry, you've already covered that. Okay, there's multiple options, okay, but in my opinion, the first thing you want to do is download a free copy of it and have a play around with it. Watch a few videos, okay? But I can get a discount off it of 50%. Now, in my opinion, all you need is the basic one, which is the Pro account. And I think the full price is $24 or $25, but I can get you 50% off, which takes it down then to about $12, $12 to $12.50, something like that. So I absolutely think that is all you need to do. But a month, yeah. But in my honest opinion, you have to have something which shows how your trading's been over a long period of time. But download it free for a week. 7 days, however long it is, I don't know, and just try it. And if you think, actually, this is... Because if you've got a bigger picture and your big picture tells you you're actually trading pretty well, and you have one day that sets you off, $12 a month is nothing, really, to get a big picture of how you know, if all of a sudden some guy said, okay, I've been spying on you, and I can tell you over the last 100 trades, you've got a 75% win rate. You can think to yourself, okay, well, what does that tell me? That tells me I can trade. You know what I mean? But I've got no idea what mine is, and I'm pretty sure unless you fill something in or take note constantly, I'd say you pretty haven't much either. But yeah, I get a commission, absolutely. But look, there are other ones. There's TradeZella. I don't know how much that is, but there are other ones. But I'd say you need to get something because, in my opinion, looking at a picture of you over a period of time tells you a lot about yourself. And I think if you can look at a big picture and you can have a bad day, and a bad day all of a sudden then doesn't seem so bad because you're thinking, well, so I've had a bad day, but look what I've done over the last 6 months. So, but it's Trader Sync. Download a free copy and have a play around with it. If you don't like it, look for another one, but I'd say you need something. But, you know, if you are thinking of this one, the Pro one is ample. But if you are interested, I have got my code up there, will get you 50% off it. 50% off the annual one, which means you've got to buy it for 12 months, which takes it down to about $12 to $12.50. But, you know, it's an investment. But it's up to you. It's entirely up to you. I'm not talking anybody into buying anything. Even if you design some sort of free one or something that helps you keep track of your trades. But I like about it, it gives me lots of bits of information. It tells me what my best days are, what part of the day is more, you know, do I win more trades? So it can really give you an overall picture of not just how many trades you've taken, how many winning trades, where you're most profitable, whether it's earlier on in the day or later in the day, or maybe this guy I watched a video of, he found out that Wednesdays he was shit. He lost trades on Wednesday for some reason. You know, it could be middle of the week. It could be some stress going on in his life on a Wednesday. You just don't know. But I won't rabbit on about it anymore. But I'd say definitely download a free copy. I would play around with it, see what you think. But if you don't want it, don't buy it. Don't buy it just because, you know, I'm using it. But find something, I'd say. So what are we doing here? I would say there is a fair chance now we could be moving up here. So, possible second entry long, but I want this to drop down, really. Now, this may be a tiny bit risky because we have made a measured move. But if that stays a small risk, let's have a look. Might just be going for a quick 2 points here. Let me have a look. Leg 2 leg. Okay, so nothing there anyway. Yeah, if you've got questions about anything, don't worry about asking me. I've always got time. Whether you want to ask me on the stream or ask me privately, whatever you want to do, you know, this is a journey for me just as much as it is for you. And as far as I'm concerned, plenty of people help me out all the time. So I'm happy to you know, pass my time on and help anybody else just with questions or whatever, bit of support, because we're all in the same journey here. There's not me and you, there's us. So look at that. Is there? Actually, I'm just going to get rid of this bigger one just a minute. On that one. Get rid. Let's have a look. Okay, touch. I kind of like that one for now. Sometimes I'm guilty of getting the bigger pictures too quick. See if we can get a higher low here. Put that to me. Touch there, touch there, touch there, touch there, touch there. We're clearly going up. Let's say Mac is at his 1010. Say that again. Let's say Mac is at his 1010. Not sure what you mean there, bud. Has Matt got you saying Matt's got his? Oh no. I don't know what you're saying. Sorry, mate. Sorry, bud. Clay, I just bought it. Oh, good for you, mate. Good for you. I think it's a good investment. I genuinely do. Okay, so let's have a look. There might be a higher lower here. I definitely do. I've only got 2 trades on mine yet, but it even makes me want to try and win trades because I want to keep my... Where's mine? I've got mine on here because I want to keep my good rate. I kind of like this. Let's see how far this pushes up, because if it finishes there... Let's see how this finishes. I'm not a fan of taking 12 ticks, but I like the trade.
Order filled.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to take it because I like it. It does look like it's going up. I am tempted to move the goalpost a bit. In fact, I'm going to, because we do seem to be in a trend here, so I don't want to miss it. I like where it is. It is a little bit more risk than I wanted, but I'm prepared to take it because I do like what's going on. It might get me, but I like it. It's a higher low anyway, so let's have a look. So there may be a bigger, just going to go with anyway, so if it gets me, but I like it. Maybe something bigger like that, it's hard to say. I'll get it in a second. In fact, let me just get rid of it for a minute. I like that. If it goes sideways and it bounces off there, it doesn't look any nicer, to be fair. So I've got to take it. So it's 32. It does look like it's going to continue up. So where do I get out of this? Let's just go for, let's see what happens. We may get a bit of a pullback here, which I kind of don't mind.
Target filled.
Okay, 2 points. That'll do. We're coming to the tops there, so you just don't know. It does look to me like we're going to continue up, and I think we will. Now, at the moment, I'm just building this account up. So I'm taking me time. I'm not in a rush to get there, but that is the type of trade. That is the type of trade where I will hold on, because I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, we had 2 legs back and a higher low, which as far as I'm concerned is fitting absolutely beautiful off there. It doesn't look any better in my opinion. And then we get a higher low. Let's have a look. In fact, yeah, 1 leg, 2 leg. Yeah, it's a visual. There's 2 legs, isn't there? But what I got out there is because we're probably going to have a bit of a pullback here before we continue higher, but I think we will. So as far as I'm concerned with it, I like the trade. But sometimes, you think, I don't want to be greedy because it might just sting me. Now, if I can manage to get these accounts up to maybe $6,000 or $8,000 dollars, then I'll happily risk $250 there because I think it's going to go up. And if it does go up, which I think it's going to, and I can get 10 points out of it, that's the equivalent of 5 winning trades of profit. So it's worth holding. Now, even if that works 1 every 3 times, you're still up. But in a channel like that, look how that's starting to work. And I can see that getting right up to here, right up to this level here. So, past the red candle. Yeah, I can't quite remember. Let's have a look. Well, I got 2 points out of it anyway. I got out here, so it did go further. So let me see how far it does. But, yeah, it's bloody hell, it's gone up nearly another 3 points and when I come out, but that would have been $500 there, see? Now, trades like this, I'll get rid of that. I've gone blank. Trades like that, when it's working there, for me, it's just going to continue up. But as I'm building up to this, so I've got 1 account. Let me have a look. I've got 1 PA account at the moment. I've got 2 more PA accounts going live tomorrow. Now, and then I've got 1 going live a few days after, so that'll be 4 accounts. I'm trading 1 account with 2 points and the 3 accounts with 1 point. And the reason I'm trading the 1 account with 2 points is because as I'm trading the other accounts lower with less risk, just having the 1 at risk isn't going to cause the same problem. The good thing about that 1 is I can build that up to a reasonable level and start taking a small bit every month from it. and continue to let the others grow without touching them, which is sort of why. But let me just put that there. So, but I really like that. That's a nice trade for me. So it's 2 legs back really. You call it high-low. It's actually the same, but it doesn't really matter. You can clearly see that's a place where we're going to take another push up from. So that was 2 points. So I don't want to be too greedy. So plus 2 points. So this for me now is going to be another leg, which is going to take us up to here somewhere. So so at the moment, my one account is $831 in 3 trades. So when that gets up to over 5,000, and I see a channel like this, and in most cases something like this could give you 6, 8, 10 points plus, then I'm going to hold on. So in other words, after that lot, my stop would then be there. I'd put that to break even once we've had that pullback. So let's just see like that. I think there's 10 points there. So let's say I just held there. All right, I've got 2 points. Now, if I get 2 points, one traded winning day over 5 days, that's $1,000, and I'd be really pleased with that. So let's just put that there because that's where I reckon that's going to go at least. So let's see whether I'd have got 10 points instead of 2. And that would have given me another $1,000 on one account. But look how that's working there. So I'm pretty confident that my stop would have been safe. It's there. I'll put that there because that's where my stop would have been. I've got that there because that's where I'd have come to break even. Because what you don't want to do is let that go off and come ramming down and take you out when you've already gone up 6 points or whatever. So I think it's important after that first swing, when it starts to go up again, at least put it to break even. But sometimes it'll win, sometimes it will lose. But if you get 10 points instead of 2, you've only got to do it twice in every 5 times, and it's worth it. If you're trading Pats, you are referring to a runner once you build accounts. Well, some people trade runners, but on 2 contracts, for me, I don't see the point in a runner because what, you're going to run half of it? So what I tend to do is just let the whole thing go. So I took 2 points there, so I could have... What did it go up to? It did go up to 6 points. Well, you say 5.5 or something like that, okay? So if I see something like this happening and I think this is starting into a nice trend and we've already had one leg up and we've got up here to go and it's fitting nice, a trade like that, I'm just going to hold on to with the full 2 contracts. And as soon as we get that first swing back, I'm going to bring it to break even. So at least I'm not going to lose anything. But if it goes up that other leg, that's going to give me 10 points, which is a fair chunk. Let's have a look. Sorry, Tara, sorry. My question was, let's assume that Mac is Pat's is a master. Yeah, okay. Let's say he's 10 and 10 and a scale from 1 to 10. Where are you? Where would I rate myself? I would say it depends. If you say, what would you say you need to be to start making money? I would say to myself, I am a steady 6 to a 7. Steady 6, I'd say. Coming up to a 7, maybe. My trading and chart reading. But that's irrelevant if I'm still finding the psychological side is getting me into trouble trading. Now, I didn't expect that to happen. That's why I just took the trade at the moment, because I knew we'd made a measured move. So I do expect it to continue up. So I made the right decision there. Now, I'd have got out for break even there. I wouldn't have lost anything. So I'm 2 points up. In other words, whereas I'd have been 0. So let's say the next time it goes, I'm then 10 points up. So you know what I'm saying anyway, but that type of thing. The only issue at the moment, if we'd have had a nice leg up there like that, sometimes it's really bullish or really bearish and it just keeps going and going and going. If you can get in there, it is time to hold. But Okay, so I'd have brought mine to break even. Once you get that first pullback for me and we push up, your stop's got to go there. So that would have been break even +1. So I'd have covered me losses there. In fact, I may have even got an extra tick out of that. But so there to there, yeah. So I'd have covered me fees anyway. That's for certain. But I didn't expect that. But maybe there is something like that. Let me just say, let's call it. I'm sorry. Maybe a spike and channel. Let's have a look, see. But sometimes you know when it's bearish, it's really bearish or really bullish, and you just know it's just going up and up and up. Then that's the time where I'm going to hold on. But what I think's happening there is we've got a two-tiered channel, so it was good to get up to the top here. So, yeah, 10 being a master, I'd say I'm probably around a 6. I'd say when you get above halfway, you can start to make some. I'd say I'm a 6, 6.5. Something like that. It's a bit hard, isn't it? Do I give myself too much credit or not enough credit? I don't really know. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. There you go. If you want to trade it parts, yeah. But what I'm also doing is, with this one account, I'm trading 2 contracts, but with every other account, I'm going to trade 1. So I'm risking half. So a lot of the times when I get into these trades with 2 contracts, I get out because I start getting nervous. And a lot of the time, the market keeps going. So if I reduce that risk by half, I'll have a little bit more staying power. And if you can get into a good setup, good setups usually work and work well. So let's say, for instance, we've had a leg up here, 1, 2 legs back and a higher low. Now that's, I wasn't at the market there, but that's a trade I would have probably taken. So we've had 1, 2 legs back, and then we're clearly doing something here. So I'd have taken that. Now, if I'd have held on to that, potentially there's 22 points there. Now, when it started going sideways up here, I'd have probably come out maybe somewhere around here. It's hard to say. I may put my stop here. I don't know. But you can see what points are available. But if you're trading with 1 contract, it's less stressful to let that happen. If you're trading with 2 contracts, it's a bit too much to lose. So I think it'll give me that little bit less stress. You reduce that risk, you reduce your stress. It's common sense. And then you can sit and hold sometimes. So as your skill grows in reading the markets, and you can say, hold on a minute, we've had a nice leg up here like this. And then we've had 2 legs of correction. So we've come here like this, we've gone like that, and like that again, and then we're going like this. And I see a nice, so there's a nice bar there, there's a nice high low, and I think there's a good chance I'm going to get in that and hold it. And then maybe take profit 3/4 of the way up or 2/3 of the way up, and just follow up on a swing. Because so many of the times in a normal market when, you know, there's nothing, no news or whatever, and we get a nice leg up that and 2 nice legs of correction, there's a good chance that we'll get a second leg. Because as we know, and that's the type of trade I'm going to get in on a higher low and hold. Because if I can get 6, 8, 10 points out of it, even once a week, you know, if I can get 10 points, if you said to me, what would I ideally love to get guaranteed every week, is 10 points. Now, 10 points trading 2 contracts is $1,000. So if you can guarantee $1,000 a week, that's $4,000 a month. That's serious money. You times that by accounts. Now, by reducing your risk, it reduces that to half, but you're going to hold trades longer. And if you can get 1 10-point trade once in a week, you've got your whole profit for the week. Okay, so we've had this leg down, we've had a break, and we've had a push. Now, is this looking like we're starting to... So I'm going to let this continue on up for a bit. Let's get rid of this, because it's starting to look like a slightly bigger channel. Who trades that way that you know of successfully? I don't know, mate. There are people out there, but I know some people trade 1-to-1. But when I started this stream back in January, I took an account up to $7,500 by trading that way and letting it go. And I was averaging around about $400 to $500 a day. So on one trade, I was getting 4 to 5 points. So it does work. Go back and look at your trades, and every good trade, look at it and see how many points made. That one made 6 points. That one made 22 points, potentially. Look back at your trades. Look at Max trades and work out, not when he's trading in a range from here to here. Look at the good setups and see how far they go. And if you can get 4 to 6 or between 4 and 10 points, it's going to pay you dividends. That's just my particular way of doing things. Now, you are going to lose the odd one more. That's a fact. But, it worked for me. Look at some of my early videos when I started. I traded an evaluation. I started back in January. December, sorry. I traded an evaluation for 7 days, traded it normally. Took normal trades, but went for more points. So I got 3,000. And then over the next sort of month and a bit, I got another 7,500 in the PA account. So that's a total of around about $11,000 on one account. And I got that by, instead of, if we have a leg down here and 2 legs up, instead of just taking 2 points, I bring my stop down here and my profit down here. And occasionally, once the market breaks the lows, it starts to push strongly. And then I just grab my stop and yank it down. And just secure maybe 5 or 6 points. And if it goes further, I just continue to drop my stop and just get as much as I can. But if you're doing that on 2 points, you're going to feel that quite stressful. So if you reduce it down to 1 point, you're going to risk about $125 in a trade. So it's just my way of, that's how I'd like to do. Some people like to go for more points. Some people like to stick to, some people take 1-to-1, some people go for 2, some people go for 6 ticks. There are people still take 1 point. But if you keep your risk management sensible, you can take a bunch of losses and it doesn't really affect things. And when I say a bunch, 2 or 3 in a row, which is pretty unusual, I think. Okay, so we've got this channel coming down here. And we have a break, 2 legs up, bearish bar, it's coming down. Now, is it a second entry short? Yeah. Do you want to go short there? I wouldn't, because we're going up at the moment. So until I get any type of thing confirmed that we're going up, I don't really want to take any shorts at the moment because we are going up. But there's always the possibility we may have hit the top of a turning point, which is going to end up in the end being something like that. Just a range, hard to say, but at the moment, where did I have that originally? It's about there, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Let's get rid of it for now. So here's our overnight lows anyway. But we do seem to be working in here. It looks like a spike and channel. We've touched, and pushed up quite strongly. So, but we have made that measured move. So I'm just a bit on the fence of what's going to happen now. I'm still struggling going through positive. Do you know what I've found lately over the last few weeks? And it's a really nice feeling. I feel like I'm starting to see a better picture. Okay. I'm starting to get those aha moments. So things for me are starting to click. And it's giving me a little bit of a confidence boost. Now, confidence when you're trading is massively important. They say you've got to believe you can do this. And if you've got lots of confidence, if you take a loss, doesn't affect you as much if you've got the belief. The trouble is, when you're learning this and you have failure after failure after failure, it's very hard to believe you can really do this because you start to question yourself. Because all you're doing is failing and failing and failing. There's not many jobs that I've ever done in my life, and I've done a few, that I've failed so many times. And it does knock your confidence, which I think is why people revenge trade, because they think they need a bit of luck. Okay, I've got my PA today. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just go for 5 contracts and I'll just see if I can grab a quick move. Oh, I'm up 1,000. Great, I've got a head start. Because you don't believe you can trade your way up there. You think you've got to take a gamble and get a bit of luck and a bit of a head start. And the reason I'm saying that is because that's how I've thought myself. So many times I've taken silly risks on a new PA account just to give me a head start because I'm not sure I can get up there myself. But lately, I'm seeing things clearer. Things are making more sense. And I don't doubt it was probably going to happen at some point. But I just feel a bit more relaxed trading. And I know when I start the rest of these PA accounts with that in mind and reducing my risk to half, the combination of the two, I think, is going to set me off on a good path for these next PA accounts. But I have asked myself the question, am I ever going to be able to do this? Is this something I'm ever going to be able to do? And as things are changing lately, I'm starting to believe it. Okay, so we do seem to be continuing up. Unfortunately, there's no setup there really. There's no high. If that was a high or low, I may be interested in that up to this bit. This bit here, giving up is the only sure way to feel. Yeah, absolutely. Trouble is, Clay, I've said to myself, the thing is, when is enough enough? Am I still going to be blowing accounts in another year? Am I still going to be blowing accounts in 10 years? If I've been doing this for 10 years and I've blown hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accounts, at some point have I got to say, I'm not cut out to be a trader, or would you just keep going? You know what I mean? So I've had days, now when I blew those 4 accounts, that is the first time I've ever had tears in my eyes trading. I felt absolutely gutted and physically sick. And I remember saying to my wife, I think I'm going to have to give this up. I don't think I can take anymore because it messes with you. But then after a few days, you know, things change and you start to think, okay, it happens. Now, if I talk to other people, I know other people have lost 20 PA accounts. And if I lost 4, how did that feel? Can you imagine losing? But I had a quick couple of messages with Mac, and Mac said, try to remember what it felt. Try and keep it in mind what it felt like to lose those accounts. Try and keep remembering what it felt like and how horrible it felt and how you don't want it to happen again. But my only problem is not knowing when to stop. So you've blown 10 so far, switching to it's a tough business, isn't it? And it's a business that people can tell you till they're blue in the face, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And we kind of know, but we don't do it. It's almost like we revert back to being a kid again. We never listen to our parents. But my only problem is if I take 2 losses in a day, I jump back in and try to get lucky to get my money back. Now, if I can kick that habit, I should be good to go, really, because I can build accounts. So what I've done is prepared to lose. So if that happens, whatever happens, I stop trading for the day and I walk away. Now, if I can do that, I'm going to give myself a massive pat on the back because that is real success, being able to do that. So I'm planning what I'm going to do when that happens. And if I can walk away, as far as I'm concerned, I've cracked it. I just need to keep doing that. And I watched a video a week or 2 ago with that the British trader stroke investor. What's his name? I mentioned him a couple of weeks ago. It'll come to me. He was in a program on TV, on a UK program, Millionaire Investors or something, Millionaire Traders. Anton Krill. And someone asked him, what about when you get that urge, you know, you lose? And he said, you just push it away. You do get it, but you push it away. So when it happens, you think, okay, this is normal. This is that urge that happens. But I can't do this because if I do, there's the end of my career. Now I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm making money and building accounts, so I just get it and push it away. So you almost physically look at it as something. I don't know, look upon it as your desk and look at it like your mobile phone, and you just grab it with your hands and you just push it away. Get away from that feeling and turn away from it. And that's how I've heard a few people describe it. And apparently it gets easier with practice until you're aware of it, but you never act on it. And that is always that hardest part and the toughest part, to stop doing it. But if you can do that, if you can stand the test of time to learn the strategies, and then eventually the charts start to make sense and you know where the trades are, and you get better at stopping out of. What I found as well is I'm getting better at not getting trapped now. Because when you see these traps happening, you think, right, okay, so I might have got in there in the past. And you just get better. And all I'm experiencing is what Max says, chart time. That's all it is. The more time you see this chart every day, you will inevitably get better at reading it and get less likely to get shafted. It's inevitable. You can't help not do it. You know what I mean? But it's just identifying when you make mistakes and when you blow accounts. Not beating yourself up enough so you can't come back from it, but saying to yourself, this is a lesson, and this is a lesson I have to learn, and this is an experience I have to go through. And you get yourself up, brush yourself down, and you carry on. Just keep trying, keep learning, keep putting things into place. And at some point, it'll work for you. I genuinely believe that. And I've spoken to enough traders who've told me that exact same thing. Everyone goes through it. And bear in mind, these guys that get snapped up from university into these big banks, they've got it easier than us. They get proper formal training. They get support. They work with guys who've been doing it for years. They still get paid. We don't. We have to invest our own money in our own time. We've got to try and work this around our lives and our days. We've still got to earn money. We haven't got the luxury of being able to do it. So I absolutely 100% believe you keep trying, you keep adapting, you will automatically adapt that mind. You'll bend and twist and shape that mind to be able to work correctly. In other words, to be able to accept when things go wrong. And I read it in a book somewhere, and there was a few words which stuck in my mind. Trading is about being, what was the word he used? It's being okay with being uncomfortable. Something like that. It's being okay. It's accepting being uncomfortable, because when we're in trades, there's always that little bit of apprehension. I don't think you ever get that, but if you look back on an equity curve and you realise you've made a ton of money over the last 2 years, month in, month in, you've got no doubt you can do the job. But when we get into trades, there's always probably a tiny little bit of apprehension. Now, going back 20 odd years, I did a bit of skydiving for a while. And the first time I did it, shit myself. Nearly literally. Second time I do it, I was in a doorway and I was thinking every excuse to try and get out of it, and I did it, and I did it again, I did it again, and did it again. And I'm thinking, Christ almighty, this is so stressful. And I remember talking to guys who've been doing it quite a lot of years, and they went, it goes. But they still always have that tiny little bit of apprehension. And apparently that's important. It's always good to have that. That slight little bit of a nervous twitch in the tummy. It's always good. But, and that's an emotional thing. If you've ever jumped out of a plane, if you've ever sat in a plane at 3,000 or 4,000 feet ready to jump out of it, there's very few things in life that I've done that have evoked emotions to that level. So it all happens. I don't remember any of it. It all happened that quick. Now, why did I get that experience and a guy who's jumped out of a plane 200 times doesn't? Because he's been in that level of an emotional state enough times to start to get used to it. If you do something like that randomly, you're not doing it all the time, are you? And it's the same with trading. When you get into trade, it's not something you do randomly risk your money and your livelihood every single day of your life. So you can't go from, working in a shop knowing you're going to get paid to all of a sudden risking all your money without some sort of an emotional level happening. But it's doing it enough times that it starts to become not so scary and you get used to it. It's still there, but that was tempting. Not necessarily a setup. Let me have a look. Actually, it was a failure, but not necessarily the best failure, but we are clearly going up. We've pushed up nicely. We've had a quick drop, bounced a few times. That is a trade that I may have taken. That's another thing about trading. When you start to get bits of experience, you start to identify areas where, okay, might not be a setup, but look at it. It's sat beautifully on the EMA. So no one's trading along there, are they? No one's taking a trade. We come back to the EMA, have a nice bullish bar. Look what happens. People are obviously buying there because it goes straight up. So when you identify these areas, and it might not be a setup, and that's why I genuinely believe Mac doesn't show us his trades, because if Mac took that, you get a barrage of emails saying that's in your first entry. But Mac's done this enough times to see what's happening, and look at that. There's nothing more of a bullish looking bar right back at the EMA when the EMA is facing upwards in an uptrend to take than that. Look what happens if you get in there. We're straight up for, what, 5 points, 4 points? Straight up, so you'd have got 3 points out of that. You'd have got your 2 points out within a couple of seconds as that goes straight up. Now, would I want to hold on for another hour for that to continue up? Not really, because it could come back here. But do I think there's going to be enough buyers in there to push that up quickly and give me a couple of points? I do. And I suppose I'm just starting to notice these things as I'm starting to slowly gain experience. I'm noticing these areas that's a trade I've gone with in the past and it worked. It's not a random trade. I'm not picking something in the middle of nowhere. We've got a nice bar, a little bit of sideways, we have a quick drop back to the EMA, nice bullish bar, and what happens? Straight up for 2.5 points. But it looks to me like there may... Yeah, he's a good guy, that Anton Creel. He's very, very confident. I think you need to be confident as a trader. But, and we've all heard the term, and I 100% subscribe to this, with skill comes confidence. When you start to... That's why I'm feeling a little bit more confident, because I'm starting to understand it a bit more. I'm starting to see it a bit more clearly. I've noticed that lately. I wrote a comment on the Facebook groups over the weekend, and I said it just starting to seem a lot less scary. I seem to feel like, okay, I'm starting to get it. So I hope that's something that's going to last. Sorry if I'm rabbiting on a bit, but sometimes when I feel like I want to talk about something, I'll just crack on. But you got a volume switch. If I'm getting too much, just switch me off. The only thing I didn't like about that is we've got a leg up. It just looks like one quick drop. I'd like to see a couple of legs, really. Leg before we get another leg up, but it doesn't mean we're not going to. Maybe a bit of a spike in a channel. Anton says we are wasting our time with price action. I disagree with him. Yeah, I do as well. Yeah, everyone's got an opinion. Trouble is, has he done it long enough? I don't know. This clearly works for me. It's common sense. The more long you've been doing this, it's common sense, isn't it? Second entry longs, if you get a really good second entry long in an uptrend, it just works. I've never seen it not work. Unless, you know, it may have been in those early few months where I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But, you know, if we get in a nice uptrend in, you get a really nice second entry long, it just works. No. Trouble is, everyone's got their own idea and experience of things. Just because he doesn't think, you know. I think he's more an investor now anyway, isn't it? Hey, Sam, how you doing, bud? I think he's more an investor. So Sam had a good solid week last week. I had a natter with Sam over the weekend. He's reduced his contract size to 1, which in my opinion is a winner. That's what I'm doing. And on, if you said to me, if I could get $500 a week guaranteed on 2 contracts, I'd snap your hand off, because that's $2,000 a month. And Sam got over $500 on 1 contract. And not only that, when you're taking trades on 1 contract, you'll happily let it work, because you're not shitting yourself. Your knees aren't shaking, because he knows he's only risking, $125, $150 maximum. If you reduce the risk, you reduce the pressure and the stress. It's common sense, isn't it? I can't tell you how many times people have said that to me, and I just let it go in one or the other. I just don't seem to listen for some reason. Lance, are you following others? Pat's guys, settings, 2006 chart, end of day on shit. Are you following others? Pat's guys, setting up a second 2000 tick chart with end of day unchecked. No, I'm not, mate. Where's my end of day here? Unchecked. You're on about here, are you? Or not? You're not on about here, are you? Not sure what you mean there, bud. End of day unchecked. End of day. Not sure what you mean there, bud. Might have to explain that a little bit, Chris. We've talked before, Chris, haven't we? A few times. It gives you the chance of 2 different signal bars. Okay. No, I've not heard that, but I like the sound of it. What I will say, funnily enough, when we reload let's try that again, our historic data. Do you remember about 3 weeks ago, we had a quick steep down there and we had 2 legs up, and there was a lovely big bearish bar, and I went short for about 3 points, and a load of other people didn't take it. And the reason being is they said their bars look different. So when I switched over, when I reloaded my historic bar, the bar looked absolute shite. It was a complete doji, so I'd have never taken a trade. So I do wonder sometimes the difference. But how do I uncheck? How do I uncheck? Trouble is, the thing is, markets come in here. Perhaps the market is deemed to go up there. Now, there's a higher low there. Let's say there wasn't a higher low. It doesn't mean the market's not going to go up. So I see what you mean. Who else is doing that? Is there anybody in the group doing that? Is there duplicate your 2000 tick chart? Okay, I'll tell you what. Duplicate it. Okay, so I've got one above me, the 4000. So let's duplicate that. All right. Let's stick that above my head. Okay, duplicate your 2000 tick bar. Change the day. Change the days to load, random number. Okay, so what days have I got here? Okay, so I've got 7 days there. So if I change it to, say, let's 5 days, or 3 days. Let's go with 3 days. So select, sorry. Let's go with 3 days. Apply. Okay. Is that what you mean, is it? Uncheck end of day box. Okay. Hold on a minute. End date box, you mean? Change the days to load something random number. Uncheck. Okay, so I've gone there. End date. Hold on, let me just drag that on here, mate. Okay, so I've changed that one to 3 days. This one here was 7 days, and that end date, yeah. Or I'm missing something else. I don't have a Discord, mate. To be honest with you, I know Sam's got a Discord and a couple of other people. I just don't. You just don't have time when you're trading. In all fairness, hold on just a second. Let me just drag this out of the way a minute. There is a possible. Let me just shut that down one sec. Touch. Let me have a look at this. Trouble is, we've gone right over here. This could be a leg down. I'm leaving here because we've got this leg up. This could be a leg down and then a leg down before we go higher. So I think that trade might be a trap. Now that is one tick off being quite bullish. EMA's flat. It has triggered and it's come down. So that is a risk for me. So this could be one leg. That's what I said. We've had a channel going up. We've had one leg down. I can't see how that I can break that up into two legs, which means we may get another leg down. So there's a second entry long there. Now it is bullish because obviously we've come down and pushed that. We're one tick away from it being a brilliant bar, but EMA is a bit flat. So I think there's caution here. Okay, quickly stop that out, and depending on whether you had your tick there or there. So we may be getting a leg, two legs up and a leg. So I have a feeling we're going to get round about down here somewhere. So let's have a look. Maybe somewhere around about here. Something like that. Okay, let's try that again. So it's the one up here I'm doing. So let's drag this down. So how can we follow your signals? I don't do signals, mate. I just trade. I don't do signals. So not end of day. EOD box. EOD box. Okay, check that one. Okay. Right, so we changed that to 3 days. EOD box. So let's apply that. Okay, so okay, it is slightly different, and I'll tell you why. We haven't got the gap. We've just got the big bar down there. Yeah. Let me see if anything else is different. And then reload it. Top one or bottom? Let's just do the top one. I think it does both anyway, doesn't it? Yeah, it's doing anyway. Okay, so let's see if there's anything different. Can I explain why it was a trap? Okay, just give me 1 second. I should relocate. So let me just see if there's a difference between the two. Yeah, there is a difference. I'll just quickly, let's make it a bit smaller. Yeah, it is a bit different. So let's just, so that bar there, can you see that? That bar, so we've got to push down, nice big bullish bar there. There, it's not so bullish, yeah? So that's the first change. Some of it's the same. This is the same. Right, I got you. You did say it may give you a different signal bar. Okay, yeah. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I like that. Check it out on my stream to see my thinking of it. You're talking to me, Sam, there about this. This idea came from Taylor. Oh, Taylor, that's part of Top Pick. I like him, actually. He's all right. Yeah, I took it short. Okay, I got you. So let's just put that like that. Okay, so why did I think that was a trap? I'll tell you why. Sometimes it's hard to explain, but we've got a leg up here, and we've got a quick drop, and then another leg. Now, market usually moves in twos. So I didn't see, sometimes it'll go leg, break, leg, and we didn't there, and then can carry on. We just had one leg down, and then we pushed up. So I expected that there was a fair chance we'd make another leg down. So when that came down to there, EMA went flat. It just, to me, looked like it was a bit trappy. So I expected this might be the area we get that other leg down. So that's the best way I can describe it. But sometimes you almost just get a feel for it. But something, you know, just doesn't feel right. Something just, I don't know, it's hard to say. But I explained it the other day. You almost build up like a library in your brain of pictures of areas that don't look right. Because if I've taken a trade there and I've lost, that I'm looking at that picture now. So that will stick in my head to a degree. And if it happens enough times, you'll start to build pictures of, when things have gone wrong, and you'll have this little feeling that I don't like this, and that instinct actually works really well. Excuse me just a second. Okay, so we've had a leg and another leg. See where I put that? See where I put that? That's right, sort of in the middle. It's slightly to the right, yeah, but you get what I'm saying. That's where I expected it to go. Now, it may go a bit lower, but sometimes the second leg doesn't go as much. And as we've already broken, I think this trade is looking to go long there. So I think you're not going to want to short there, in my opinion. So I think there'll be less shorts there. So, but we've had a breakout and there's a leg and a leg. So there is a bullish bar there. So if we can maybe get a higher low or something, I'll have a look. I was trapped, that's why. Oh, yeah. Now, I'm guessing that bar there, now, on your charts, it might look, it's a bullish bar. It's a doji. All that means is it opened and closed the same part, at the same area, but it did push down and then pushed up. So one tick higher, and that's about as bullish as you can get. So we've had a channel up here, and a lot of inexperienced traders are going to go, the second entry long there, and they're going to buy that. One tick above there, and you're going to be triggered and then stopped out instantly. Just because we've had this quick drop down, market likes to move in two, so I'd expect to see another drop down before I even think about going long, which is why I didn't there. Now, if I'd have seen another bar go up there, maybe a higher low or a failure, then I may consider it. But I always give the market chance to trap me. So I never take that first one. I'll wait and see what happens. If it traps me, comes down, I've stayed out of it. If it pushes up and continues up, then great. And then sometimes you can wait for a failed second entry long. If that triggers and pushes up, I'm starting then to think long. But, you do get a bit experienced, and I do find I'm better now at identifying times when the market's going to break out the channel. And I do that more and more, and that's because you just get a feeling when the market's doing this and this. But that's how Mark describes as chart time. The more time you sit and look at this chart, the more you start to get feelings of, okay, I've seen this picture before. I'm better now at staying out of trades. Like I say, you get trapped, I didn't. 12 months ago, that would have been me in there with you. But when you see that happen so many times and you get trapped, best way to learn not to get trapped is to get trapped. So don't take that as, you've messed up. You don't know what you're doing. Take that as a lesson and remember it, because when it's happened a bunch of times, you'll start to think, you'll start to get a cautious feeling in your head. And that's how it works. That's how your experience just slowly starts to grow. Now it's doing a bunch of bit of sideways stuff, which tells me I'd say it's more likely to start pushing up now, but I'm not getting involved because it could still come down a bit, and there's always the possibility it doesn't carry on up and we continue down. I don't think it is. After this, I'd still like to maybe see a push up, but but I still have lots of times where I don't know what's going on, and the best thing to do is when you're not sure what's happening, and it does happen, just stay out of it. Don't take a trade. When things start to flow again, that's when you start to know to get back in. So, what have I missed here? 5 took that one short. Good on you, mate. Slightly different shape. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of that. We touched here, so it's not terrible, but I mean, you could not have the bigger picture here. You could just go up with that. That's a possibility as well. In fact, sometimes I get accused of drawing too big, but we've had a break. We've made an attempt to go higher, so you just don't know. I think sometimes you are better off just focusing on the smaller stuff. But it does look like there's something larger brewing there. And by the way, that's touching there. Maybe that's a good idea, just doing that. It came from Taylor. Taylor, yeah, I like Taylor. Okay, see what I mean? We had these bars like this. To me, it looked like it was going to go up, and it has done. There's a leg and a leg. So at some point, if you see that happen day in, day out, you might decide to start trading that. I had a good idea I was going to do that, and it worked. So the more you do that, the more you notice these markets, and the more you see these things happen, you'll naturally, I think, start to get curious about, oh, hold on a minute, why don't I take that? What's the risk? Tick above, tick below, 2.25 points. Not a lot, really. Large trend from the bottom, 0837. Are you going from here, are you? Yeah, I've tried to do that, but normally you go... Did you go like that, did you? No, that's not right. Or there. Yeah, I always like to incorporate this first proper swing, so... Yeah, I did. So that's out of the question, I think, isn't it? Or is it? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's why I always like to find out what max. Let's have a look what max take is. Excellent. Yeah, we got something. Okay, I'd like to see what his take is on that. Okay, let's see what Matt's got for us. Okay, so are we going up from now? I'd say it's lightly. The trouble is, I've also done this, so I know when to stay out. I've also gone long there, and what's happened is triggered me and come down, and I'm thinking, what's going on? There's a channel down there with a break. A lot of times we'll make a new low. So we've got a channel up with the break. We haven't made a new high. So it's when it goes like this, it's hard to know what to do when you have a break. And a lot of times I'll have gone long there and it triggers me and comes down. So I tend to, I'm not sure. And in all fairness, it is a little bit choppy. We're going down, up, down. So it's hard to say. So I wouldn't want to get in here because I'm not 100% sure whether we're going to come down and break these lows or indeed we are maybe coming down. That's always a possibility. So let's just see if we've got a trade trend. Okay, all right, Max, give us an odd one here, but let's have a look. Okay, starting to look a bit positive, but you've got to be careful of that. It does 1 minute. Okay, so Mac has gone in from basically the same as me, I think. From there to there. I see his chart looks slightly different. Yeah, see, I don't know why. Max got a break here. Why would you have a break? That doesn't make sense. Okay, let's drag Max in anyway. He's got basically something similar to me. Let's have a look. Oh shoot, where is it? Oh, where are you, Mac? Okay. Okay, so yeah, he's coming from there after that drop there, which is where I've gone and here. But he's got a small break here. I don't quite know how, but anyway, regardless of that, that's a break. Max here at the moment. So pretty much the same, really. He's got a channel drawn here. It's by the by anyway, but it's pretty much the same. So, see what I mean? After that, you think leg, we're pushing up again. And there have been times where I've gone long now, and look what's happened. You go long above there, and it triggers you, comes down. You know, so. But you do get, a lot of other you guys, you do get a feeling, don't you, rather than, oh, I know it's not right here. Sometimes you just get that feeling, I don't like the look of this. And I put it down to the picture you've seen many times where you've lost trades and you've trapped. You notice it, you cannot forget it because it's where you lost money. That to me looks like a push-up, one leg back, two legs back. That one is a higher low or just a nice solid bar. So for me, that was a good trade and it worked. But sometimes you'll just see an area and you'll think, oh, I don't like that. So many times when we have a break, the picture's not nice. and you woman and R. And honestly, when you get that, best thing to do is stay out. Other times you'll have one leg up, two legs up, beautiful big bearish bar. The picture will just be superb. And I guarantee you, when you take those trades, they do not work. They do not fail. That's why, you know, this system with Mac, it's brilliant. You don't get as many great setups, but when you do get those good setups and you've had a bit of experience in identifying them, they just don't fail. They really don't. And that's what I like about this. It's as close to almost guaranteeing something as trading can get. I didn't think trading would get anywhere near as accurate as being able to get 90% plus. You know what I mean? I didn't think that, but look at that. You may have think, oh yeah, we've had a break, we're pushing up, maybe another couple of legs back and then up again, and then what happens? It pushes up, traps a load of buys in there and tanks. So it's identifying areas where you want to stay out of, as much as taking good trades. You know, it's okay sitting and waiting for good trades, but there's just so many areas where you can really get shafted. So I don't know. Did I have mine like that at some point? I think I did, didn't I? I did. So we've had a break. So maybe this is a leg and a leg, and then a push up. It's just hard to say, but I'm not sure at the moment. This is once it starts to do this a bit, it just gets a little bit unpredictable. So we know that's right. I'm happy with that. Max got it as far as I'm concerned. If anything goes wrong, I blame him. We've had a break. Another little channel. Looks like a spike in a channel and then a quick drop. Breaking a new low. So there is always the possibility that any time, 1 minute you think you're going up, that things could just change and we could end up being in a range. And in all fairness, that actually doesn't look that bad. So many times we just go sideways. So, you know, you're looking to go long here, but perhaps we're not going to. Perhaps people have deemed this as high as they want to go. And then if you're not going long there, what's left? The shorts. Check the signal bar at 1437. Both 2000 tick charts. Okay, I like this. Interesting. 1437. 1437. Okay, 1437. That's there. So that red bar there, yeah. 1437. Okay, 1437. Interesting. Yeah. That bar there at 1437 is bearish. So let's have a look at the 2000 tick chart, the one above me. That signal bar there at 1437 is bullish. So I see what you mean. Interesting. So let's have a look at them a bit closer. Yeah. 37. Yeah. Look at that. In fact, the picture there looks quite a bit different, doesn't it? Yeah, it is. It's definitely different. It's different enough to hopefully be able to make a difference. But yeah, sometimes when we break and we get something like this, I mean, if this was a break and we were in a trend and you're thinking, oh, damn, there's no setup. And on the other one, it may just trigger below and give you a long. So that's a good idea, that, actually. I've not heard of that before, but I do like Taylor. I rate him as a trader. Here's another one that goes for a few more points. He goes for between 2 and 4 points, Taylor does. If you look back on, not so much now, but you look back maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago, lots of trades he goes for 4 points, but he assesses the situation, which is what I do. I like that. If we have a really nice channel, 2 legs of correction and a higher low, and I think there's a good chance we're going to make it close to a leggy and then maybe 10 or 12 points. I think, personally, for me, I'm all in there. I'm going up. I'm going to get myself 5, 6 or 8 points. So let's have a look. Yeah, so that's interesting, that. Yeah, so it's good to have another couple. So if you're coming back to an area here and you think, no, it's not triggering below, you can have a little glance above. But yeah, interesting. the chart above, I got, okay, so there's another one that's quite different. So look at this here. So you've got a green bar and a red bar. Look at this there. You've got two sort of, well, a doji and a red one, but they're completely different. You can see here. It's a bearish bar, but it's more of a full-bodied one, where this is more of a pin bar. I actually prefer to take a bar because for me, it means it's pushed up green, bullish, and turned down. So for me, excuse me a minute. For me, it takes more selling pressure to make a bearish pin bar than a full red bar. So but that's interesting, that is. I'm going to keep an eye on that for sure. I did wonder whether it would work if you had one chart where you reloaded historic and one where you didn't, so you'd have a slight difference. But yeah, that's interesting. I have 21 days. Oh, excuse me, to know my first chart and 5 on the second chart. Do you find it makes more of a difference if you spread the days out, like you say, 25? Because I've got 7 and 3. You've got 25, 21 and 5. So there's quite a big difference there. I'm using my own account, so I can use Trade of 8 chart and Ninja Trader site. So, oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, of course. And you can find out what. Yeah, I like that. At one point, I did have the 1,000 tick chart above, because the 1,000 tick chart has got twice as much detail of this, and on the odd occasion, it gave me a higher low on the 1,000 tick, which it didn't here. So that's another thing I looked into. But they're interesting. And I suppose maybe you can try different channels on both of the charts, couldn't you? See what works without necessarily changing. Interesting. I think this is just something you do as a trader. And I think it's a good thing that you do it, because you're constantly trying to evolve and adapt. Market does change, and one of the things that stuck in my head that Matt told me, when you're learning to read the chart, there's also multiple personalities that the chart's got. So sometimes it's predictable, and it's like you're out with an old friend, and other times it's like you're out with a complete stranger. You don't know what he's going to do next. Good place for a second and short. My trouble is we've had a leg down and we've had a break and a new low. So what I will be looking for after that is another push up there for a short, but we've already surpassed that. See, so it looks there may be a leg and a leg, or a leg and a leg. But I'm always cautious about continuing down when we've already had a break. But no, one of the most useful things I think I've learned lately is when to stay out of the market. It may be a setup, but some setups just don't feel right, and I kind of like that. I get that feeling, and it's pretty accurate. I had that feeling there or something, didn't I? Wherever it was. Was it? I can't remember. It was now. I had that feeling, and the feeling was right, because it's pretty accurate. That is, when I get that feeling, usually I'm right. And I kind of like that. It gives you that confidence just to stay out of a trade, because it is important just to stay out of a trade is to get in a trade. Okay, so there is a possibility there's a bigger channel on the chart above. You can see I have got that down as a bigger channel, so it's also another area maybe to try something out. So see, this could be a leg. We could have a leg down and a leg down, and then more upwards. See, I'm not convinced we may not continue on up. It's hard to say, because there is the possibility of maybe something bigger there. It's possible that we could have had a leg and a leg, and then maybe more up. I always like to keep my options open. But if something does fall right, maybe. We'll see. But when I've already had a winning trade, I am extra cautious. I want to be confident now. If we'd had this first leg down with the break, I'd be more interested in going short there than having a break and already made a new low. Because sometimes it'll give you a bearish bar, it'll trigger you and trap you to the downside and then push up and take you out. But there is a lot of congestion around here, so it could trigger you and go sideways. And there's nothing worse than being stuck in a trade. Marco skipped the second entry long. Which one? At the 37. That one there. Yeah. How do you know that? Has he even posted his chart already, is he? Or are you part of Top Pick Trading, are you? I like Marco. I think he's a great bloke. He's helped me out loads of times with good advice. And he's one of those persons he always gives me good advice and supportive advice, because sometimes when you've had a bit of a naff day, sometimes a bit of a, I don't know, soft shoulder, if you like. So there are a couple of guys in there which just, I don't know, they just give you a bit harsh. I think when you've had a tough day, sometimes you've got to be a little bit gentle with people, I think, because it can really mess your head. Yeah, I just don't like the way that's not pushing down quite confidently. It may do, but remember, we've already had a break and a new low, so it may come down. But I don't like it. And of course now it's going a bit sideways. I mean, it is a second entry short, but the fact that we've already had a break and a new low, straight away that says to me caution. Now, if that bar was up here, right below there, and a good push up and a quick push down, that may get me a bit more ease and Thomas ways. Okay, I got you. I got you. He's a nice bloke, Marco. I like him. He's always given me good, solid, positive stuff. I see what I mean straight away. If I was in that trade now, my knees would be knocking. It is going a bit sideways. You may get away with it, but I have a feeling that's going to get stopped out. Yeah, it's not going to go that high without stopping that out. Sometimes, though, when it does go sideways, it never quite breaks above there, but I don't know, I'm not convinced. There will be traders in there for sure, but that for me is a no-no. Half the trouble is having that patience to stay out of it, because you're itching to make money sometimes. Sometimes I'd have said, yeah, I know it's risky, but sod it, I'm going to take it anyway. I just want to, because I want to try and make the money. What if it does work though and I miss it? So that's interesting. Remember I said sometimes if it goes sideways, it never comes and gets that stop. So there's always a possibility it might not. But it is going sideways now, so for me, I'm kind of glad I'm out of it. I'm glad I'm not in it. Possible bigger. Yeah, there is a possible bigger channel. The trouble is, I'm looking at that on the chart now, and it can still respect that channel and break above there. So it can still stop that stop out, which I think it's going to, and still fall within that channel. So it's getting close. I tend to always like to think small picture initially, let it make a new low, but then you've got to be cautious then, because it has played out. It could push up. So you've got to maybe look sideways. Is it likely to? Is it likely to come down? I'd certainly expect it maybe to come down to this area here. But it may trap two lots of shorts in here. And if it does break above there, I think it'll do it with some vigour. So there's a second entry short. And there's some shorts in there which is triggered. So if that breaks above there, I think we'll get a quick push. But it's look at it. It's congested to hell, that is. So I think it's risky. It may work. a lot of cases, even if it's congested, it still works, but I'd still rather not be in that trade. See, it's identifying areas where you can get trapped. And I'll tell you something for now. There's traders there, and there'll be traders in there as well. And they're stuck in here, and there's nothing they could do at the moment. It may work, but it hasn't. Yeah. Yeah, it's just got to remember that we have had a break at that and a new low, so a lot of times it goes up. Now, do I want to go long here? I may have done, but it's still going sideways. So just because it's trapped shorts doesn't mean it can't trap along there and turn back around and take that out. I've been in trades where I've been trapped and got stopped out, and straight away I thought, oh, it's going up, and I've bought, and it triggers me and comes back down, and you lose 2 trades in a row. And believe it or not, when you lose a trade, the chance of you losing another trade straight away is pretty high. We've all jumped in and got straight back in the opposite direction and been shafted again, been shafted twice. It hurts twice as much. You're thinking, okay, I've been trapped short here. Nice big bullish bar. Sod it, we're going up. Let's buy, and it'll trigger you, come back, stop you out, and you're down 2 trades in the space of 2 minutes. Excuse me a sec. Okay, just excuse me, I'm going to take just a quick 2-minute break. Okay, sorry about that. That's right, my daughter just came home from work, and kids have got a story, haven't they? Okay, so if you'd have bought there, you'd same again, your arse would be twitching there. So it's just a bit unpredictable here. It's just a bit choppy. Ryan kept punching in the face, then a kick on the ground. What am I missing? Punch in the face, kick on the ground. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, when you go along in your short. Yeah, I've done that before. Quite a lot of times. I resist the urge to get straight back into a trade now, because there's nothing worse than thinking, oh shoot, I've been trapped by the longs, and then you jump straight back in and it tiggers above and comes back. It's just, yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. definitely. And the way this is breaking one tick above there, it may come down and take out some longs as well. So you clearly see it's just not looking very clear. So whenever you get times like that, just stay out of it. Just identify, you'll start to see traps. There was a trap there straight away, triggered, stopped out. Trap there, triggered. I think that's going to come and stop that out. It might not, it might go out, but clearly see it sideways. Yeah, it's a fair old big drop, that really, isn't it? I can't remember the last time I saw a drop that big. To be at least a couple of years, I think. I suppose we're quite lucky Apex don't allow us to stay into trades overnight, because that would have either been a gift or the complete opposite. So it does look like it's just ranging now, doesn't it? I mean, we could be going down, but it does look like we're ranging. So, okay, we've already got it there. Yeah, okay, so it does look like we're going a bit sideways there, so extra cautious. I still like that trade. Sometimes as the market changes and develops, but I really like that. That for me is a good solid trade there. What did it go for? Yeah, 5.75, so plenty. Yeah, see, there are times where in the future that I'll hold on to them. My stop would have gone to there then. Maybe there, so it would have took me out of that one. I'd have got maybe a tick or two profit, but so many times a channel like that will just keep on going. But yeah, sometimes it. I've got to say, I have noticed a clear difference how I react now when I get a loss. So many times I would not be able to help myself. You almost start flapping, literally, panicking. And I think back to some of the way I used to feel. I remember trading once, excuse me, and I was on an evaluation, and I felt like I had a vice around my neck. It was that stiff. I could not relax it. It was weird, and I've sat grinding my teeth, and I've also built up a bit of a habit of coughing and sniffing. It's the stress. Stress makes you do, I'm usually quite a confident person, but stress makes you do strange things. And if I listen back now, when I'm in stress situations around trades, I have this little sort of nervous cough. I try and be aware of it when I'm on the stream, and I think, okay, perhaps I've cracked it, and then I listen to myself later and I sound like a raving loony. And it just goes to show it's stress. Stress makes you do odd things. Okay, so big solid bar there. Is that going to push up? I think it's possible, but I'm not trading it. I tend to avoid these big bars now. Yeah, so that's tick above, tick below. There's 5 points or a little bit more. Not a chance. If you notice, though, when it is ranging, it'll go up, down, up, down, up, down. So even if you went long here, it comes down. If you went short here, it goes up. If you go long here, it comes down. If you go short here, it goes up. It's crazy, isn't it? Sometimes you're better off doing the complete opposite. When it comes down here, like when it goes up like that, sometimes you're better off going short, which isn't natural, is it? Going short for half a point, going long for half a point, going short for half a point. Okay, so there's more volume than I expected today. Yeah. that name. Okay, it takes you 10 minutes to read that name. Is it most viral video? Oh, okay, that's not that bad. Most viral videos. How many points do you try to go for a day? Do you know what? I thought long and hard about targets, and I tend to avoid targets like the plague now because I think targets set you up for failure. Because if you set yourself a target of 3 or 4 points a day and you make it 4 days a week, I think you'll be likely to take a slightly more risky trade to try and keep your... So I tend to not do it. Ideally, I like to do 1 or 2 trades a day. 1, I'm happy with. If I can get 2, even better. But point-wise, it depends. Sometimes if I see a nice channel, a perfect measure, a perfect 2-legged correction, and it starts to move up on a higher low, and I think we're going to get a good push up, I'll hold on a bit longer and try and get some more points. But other times I'll just take 2 points or 2.5 or 3. But I haven't really got a target. I know Mac talks about, set yourself 2 trades a day or $100 a day, but the trouble is it's not a case of getting what you want. It's a case of getting what the market will allow you. So I think sometimes it can set you up for failure, that. Now, sideways, and there's a little bit of a break there. Failed breakout, which is triggered. So I think we may get a bit of an upward movement from here if it breaks above there. So yeah, I tend to avoid plans, really. I will say if I win 2 in a day, then I'll walk away. That might be a target that if I do hit it, I'll finish. Another target would be if I have 2 losses in a session. I consider that as a target. Maybe not a target, maybe, you know what I mean. If that happens, I'll walk away. But yeah, I tend to not set myself a monetary one or a points-based one because I think if you're trying to hit your target, I want to get it for the 5th day in a row, it may make you take a slightly riskier trade to sort of, hit your goals. 1 trade a day rule helps with revenge trading. Yeah, didn't me and you have a talk about this the other day, Chris, on the Facebook group? Or was it someone else? I'm sure it was you, wasn't it? Was it you? No, it was what's his name? There's another guy on the group. I forget his name. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad way of doing it either. 1 trade a day, win or lose. If you are struggling to stay out the market, I don't think that's a bad approach. 1 trade a day, because if you've only got to take 1 trade a day, there's plenty of time to take that trade, so you're not in a rush. So you can sit and let all the crap go by and wait for that real beauty. So I don't think that's a bad way to go. Who was I talking to about that the other day? Chris James. Sorry, Chris Jones. I was thinking of another guy on the. Sorry. What's his name? Yeah, if anybody's not a member of the Facebook group, that's it there, Max Fight. It's a great group, actually. I've been involved with this now for about 2.5 years, and there's 6,500 members, so it's a great group. If you may be new or you're learning or whatever, just what I did for the first 1.5 years was posted my charts every day and just asked for feedback. And you do. Definitely helps you learn, because there's always more experienced people than you. There's another guy I follow from now and again, Jope, another guy. He's helped me, give me a few tips when I started a couple of years ago. I can't remember. Daniel, he's another guy. He's not on it as much now. And obviously Marco, he's admin with Daniel. Another nice guy. Always got something positive to say. Always help you out if you got any problems. You're having a bad day. So, good explanation. Thank you, mate. You never know whether you're going to get a good one or not with me. Sometimes my explanations are precise and to the point. Sometimes I rub it on for 20 minutes and maybe miss the picture. But yeah, I think it's best not to have a monetary one or, a target, because just as much as you might want to, sometimes the market just doesn't give you it. And I think it does. It can maybe squeeze you a bit into thinking, oh, one more trade and I've hit my target for the week, you know. So, okay, so I did say that may push up after it tripped that, and it did, but I don't like the bar. And I don't know, it's not looking like it's mega bearish to me, and it is a little bit choppy. It's a bit all over the place a little bit. It is moving, but around here, you don't know whether it's going to come back in or push up, but I thought if it triggered that, it may push up a bit. There are times where I'm itching to put a tick above there, but sorry, an order above there, but that does look like it's pushing up. But see, I trade differently when I've got a trade early as well. I get a bit extra cautious, sometimes too cautious, but Mac, I'll mark that one for sure, 100%. There's nothing else I can see really that I really fancy. Was there something around here? Push up, leg back, leg back. That's something I quite possibly would have got into if I was here. It was about 10, just around about, well, was it 10 to 5 to 2? I wasn't focusing on what I was doing there, but we got a sort of a push up, leg back, higher low. I kind of like that, I did, just to maybe get out of these highs. So if I was here, I'd have taken that one, and maybe, well, it went up for a nice push that I may have, I don't know, got 4 points or something. But I like that. That was one I would have taken. Not sure about anything else. That one for sure. Nothing there. Nothing here. It's going slow now. I do wonder whether there's going to be a. Is there as much volume today? Maybe not. Uh, 1520, around about here. That one there, that bar there. Did I mention that? I think I might have done. Yeah, I did mention that, didn't I? So that was the type of trade that that would probably interest me. It's all right. I was just looking for pure setups, but as just a good looking place in an uptrend, because sometimes you get an uptrend, you get a good looking bar, and it might not necessarily be by the books. And I'm convinced that's why Mac doesn't show us, because if Mac took that trade, I guarantee you get a barrage of messages saying, "Watch that trade. It's only first entry." I mean, you could even argue it's a failure, because there's your low, there's your first entry, there's your second entry, it's your third entry. But in an uptrend, a bar like that, right at the key entry point, EMA is facing upwards, right at the EMA, right at this, the bottom of the channel, I think it's asking to go up that, and just by the way it reacted. So there are times, I think, as your experience grows, that you'll notice these and you'll think, well, I'm taking it. If that works 70% of the time and you go for 1-to-1, you're making money. Yeah, you could say that's a bunch of stuff. In fact, does it look any different on the other chart? It doesn't know. Let's have a look at 1,000 tick chart, see if that looks any different. No. Yeah, sometimes on other charts, it does make you wonder whether it might be worth having you the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1,000 and 4,000 tick chart and just pick the best. But yeah, for me, it just looks an uptrend, the type of bar which would work up from people who want to buy there. Just because we work off second entries and failures and higher lows doesn't mean every other trader does. And to me, I think that's an attractive bar to go long in an uptrend for a trader, and the way it reacted makes perfect sense. But Obviously, are you prepared to take the risk? At the moment, no. Maybe in 6-12 months' time, when I've got nice, big, healthy accounts, it's something I probably would. Not for a huge amount, certainly for 2 points, and it did that. Would it not be a high or low? The trouble is, we've got the new low here, so there's a first entry or a higher low. There's a failure or a higher low. So it's 1, 2, 3. Some people may call it that. I don't know, really. I don't know. But for me, I can see how it's reacting off the EMA and the bottom of there. So that's a trade I would have most certainly thought would have pushed up. So I don't know, you may call it. But a lot of people, and I see this, and I've done it myself, higher lows, some people will go, there's a lower high. When it's come so far, higher lows need to be a bit closer. So there's a new low. That's a higher low for me. If the market pushed up and came down here, that wouldn't be a higher low. So it needs to be quite close. So from there to there, I think it's gone too far. But you can clearly see it's holding nice there. So, but these are things that I notice now that I didn't used to. That you kind of sort of slot in your memory a little bit and think, I don't want to do it now. I'd rather just follow the rules 100%. But as your accounts grow and your experience gets more and more, that's why I tell you something for certain. That is why Mac doesn't show us his trades, because he will take trades that don't follow the rules he teaches us. He has to teach us a set of rules. Whenever you teach somebody something, whether you're at a university or school, you have to have a certain format, a certain method to teach someone, whether it's from a textbook or whatever it's from. You plan it, you teach it a certain way. You can't just wing it. So he has to have some sort of a bunch of lessons in a specific order, set out a certain way for us to learn. And you learn those, and as you learn and develop with experience, you pick up new strings to your bow. And that's the type of trade that maybe even something like that, push down, pull up, nice big bearish bar drops down. That maybe even is something, it depends. It's actually a failure there and a trap. So remember I said there would be a few people gone long there, so that may have been a short there. So try to go on one, struggle. As it triggered that bullish bar, you could even take that on an engulfing. So put your sell order one tick below there and it came down for your points. So, there are trades there. Sometimes I miss them. Maybe not close enough, but I hadn't really noticed that before. But try to go once. It is a failure and it traps them longs, taking a long. So as it broke below there, came down quite nice. But this is the first time I felt like I'm starting to understand things a little bit better. And another thing I think that's happened to me lately, not only I feel I'm understanding, I'm trying not to understand areas of chop. Sometimes you try and find something in here, and that's where, and I spent a lot of time getting trapped. I'll go long here and it triggers you, comes down, or I'll go short here. So I think I've accepted the fact that I don't always need to understand what's going on, but what I need to do is if something's congested and it's not making sense, it's okay to go, I'm not going to even bother trying to understand that. It's clearly bouncing all over the place and choppy. Just let it go, forget about it, rather than trying to read it. Because sometimes when things go sideways and congested, Matt won't take a trade there, and he's way experienced. Why doesn't he? Because sometimes the market doesn't make much sense and it's all over the place. But it's trying not to sort of, not to try and read it and try and take something out of nothing. But okay, so this is clearly working up. Probably a spike and channel, but yeah, it is accepting sometimes that we're going choppy, just forget it. Sit on your hands, go and make a cup of tea. So we seem to be bouncing around actually where we dropped to, funnily enough, which was there. We dropped to there, we came down and pushed up quite swiftly and hit a point there. And obviously it's quite played a little bit more of a point. See, a lot of other strategies are based on support and resistance. And obviously that was the first sort of sign that there may have been something there. And obviously something's happening here, isn't it? And here as well. So a lot of trades are based on these areas. Sometimes you think everyone trades the same chart as us and the same strategy, but they don't. I think there's 1,000 different ways of trading these markets, different time frames, different. And I think it's accepting to yourself that it's okay to make a mistake. You might not take a bad trade here because markets move fast and decisions got to be quick. Sometimes you just make a mistake. You misjudge something. And when you've taken it, you pretty much, it's not often now I take a trade that loses that I can't figure out pretty quickly what went wrong with it. There was a time where I had to post my charts and say, what went wrong there? Why didn't that work? But you pretty much know now. So sometimes the only reason you get into these trades is maybe heightened emotions a bit. Looking for a six. Sometimes I've been hovering over a bar like that, and as it finished, I get a shaky finger sometimes, and I just drop my order. And sometimes it'll go down, and it never triggered. So that's another thing why you can make mistakes. So I think it's accepting the fact that you're going to take trades because you're less experienced. I class myself as hitting the intermediate level now, where I know enough to be able to make money, but I'm still learning every day, and I'm still growing and developing, and I'm still going to make mistakes. But it's accepting the fact that it's okay to make a mistake. I've always been an all or nothing type of guy. If I mess up, sometimes I'll think, what's the point in even carrying on? So I've had to learn to sort of forgive myself for making a mistake and not beat myself up too much. Because sometimes when you do beat yourself up, you almost go into self-destruct mode and think, sod it, I'm going to go long here anyway. If it doesn't work, it's my own stupid fault. If it does, I got lucky. I've taken trades like that before in the past. You almost go into self-destruction mode. I read about it in a book. Sorry if I'm rabbiting on a bit today. I'm working on that, yeah. I read it in something. It is a form of self-destruction mode. You're angry with yourself, so you almost punish yourself by taking a risky trade. If it wins, great, you got lucky. And if it fails, you sort of deserved it. It's weird how we go through these steps. It's odd. But I suppose the human mind's a complicated thing, and sometimes, it's hard to say why we chose to do things sometimes. We've all done stuff we don't meant to and said stuff we've not meant to in the height of the moment. Well, when you're trading, sometimes if you've already had a loss, those emotions might be that little bit more keyed up. So I think it's really important to focus and have a plan when things do go wrong, because ultimately that can make you or break you. And in times, it's broken me more times than I care to say. So as well as have a plan to get in the market, to get out the market, when to stay out the market, you have to have a plan it sounds a bit odd, but you've got a plan to lose. If I lose, what am I going to do? So you have to have a plan for all those inevitable things, and that's the one thing that can either mean, yes, you're coming back tomorrow a little bit in the red, but with the count still intact, or no, you're not coming back at all. So it is good to have a plan for what happens when things go wrong. And also, if you manage to get away, maybe a treat as well. Because I think if you're struggling with it, you manage to do it. You manage to do it once. I think you've come close to breaking a cycle there. So definitely have a little treat. I don't know, a few beers with your mates. I don't know, top quality hooker. with me a nice single malt or something. I don't know, but I think it's important to reward yourself when you get past a tough time that you just seem to be struggling with. Okay, so we're up there. Maybe a bit of an overshoot that, but I'm not convinced it is. I think I just need to make that a bit. Yeah, that's better. Let's have a look. Okay, I like that. Nice channel that. So we've been up here before once, and we've been up here before as well. So it looks like a leg up with 2 legs of correction, maybe. In fact, I think that would be better. That looks like a leg up. 1, 2 legs of correction. We could get a nice leg up here, maybe above here and a break, and then something, I don't know, maybe wider like that. I think that's quite feasible there. So we may have interesting to see what happens. We may, I noticed we've stopped there. We've gone a little bit sideways and gone up again. So that might be a possibility. So if we can get down to here, then we may get up not only to this, but possibly past it. So let's just try a leg there. So I think that is a fair target. And that'll get us close to Friday's highs. So it does look like a leg with a couple of legs back. Whether you think that's a leg or that's a leg or that's a leg or that's a leg, I think it's possible. So just out of interest, I'm going to put a line there as tight as I dare, and I'll get rid of that. Okay, let's see what happens there. Yeah, I like that. I'd have definitely taken that. Got a leg up, 2 legs back, high or low, nice bullish, above the EMA. Just going to put that there. Funnily enough, look at it touch there and touch there. Let's see if it comes down now. Okay, just excuse me just for 2 minutes. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. It's getting a bit messy, isn't it? Let's tidy it up a bit. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of this for a minute. I'll put it back in a while, but if we can continue up, get something down here. So if that is a channel, we could have leg, so we've got a channel up, 2 legs of correction, and another leg up. So that's looking quite positive, actually. So if we start here, touch, 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 touching relatively nice at the top. So I don't think that's a bad call. Look at the 5 minute. Yeah. Yeah, pushing up nice there, but we're definitely going to have something back here, at least to the midline. Yeah, we're coming up to these highs as well, so ideally what I'd like is back here and then a higher low. Confirm this line, so we touched here, touched. If we can confirm this line, okay, I'd like to see this either go sideways to here or go down via a way of a couple of legs. But I've gone from here to this first swing. Does to me, if we can get above these highs, it does to me very much look like a leg with 2 legs of correction and another leg. I'd certainly like to make it to close down this overnight gap, which we're 10-12 points away from. So if we can get back down here, Okay, leg down, maybe another leg. That's going really slow now, isn't it? There's sort of it's not a terrible day, really. There are areas of a bit of congestion, but it's not. Mind you, if I wouldn't have taken a trade, it would seem quite different. So sometimes, how is Trader Sync treating you? Early days yet, mate. I was going to get it in, wasn't I? Okay, there it is. Let's get it in. Okay, so I've taken 2 trades so far. That's not included today, but there's so much you can do on this. I've not even scratched the surface, but it tells me what day it was, what it was on, entry, exit, how much, whether I was long or short. I've still got to add, I don't think I've added commissions to this yet, but there's so much you can do on it. But yeah, I'm still pretty new, but I'm up to, you can change all these widgets as well. So that's why I suggest you download a free copy of it. What's the word I'm looking for? A free trial. I'd have a play around with it, but I think it's important to do it like this. Once you start maybe getting to a level that you think I've got to, for me, I've got to start taking this a bit more professional now, look upon it like a business. And if you have a business, you have charts, you have all sorts of stuff. You don't just make money in a business. If you're in a business, everything's computerized, everything's put in there. Yeah, there's TradeZeller as well, absolutely. There's another one as well. There was a few I looked at. This one I just like the format of it. Let me have a look. Yeah, so I'm up to 100% win rate at the moment. So it makes you kind of want to keep that as you start off. Do you know what I mean? So there's all sorts of stuff. It's early days yet. How do you upload? Pretty simple. I'll show you. So what I do, if I click executions, I'll show you. So if I right click and click export, now you'll be given this prompt down the bottom. So if I click that one, CSV file, and click save, it saves it for me. So let's get that back out of the way. Now if I bring this back in now and I click add trade, I can get rid of them anyway later. Import. I have this already set anyway, my own date for, because in the UK we tend to have date, month and year. Ninja Trader, there's my account, Ninja Trader. So I just click browse, and where did I save it? What's the date today? The 9th. Okay, so if I double click that one, clip it, import. You've exactly imported 4 trades. So 3 of them were micros for my 3 PA accounts, and 1 that is. So if I go back into my dashboard now, there we are. So there's the trade. I went long. I got $200. So it shows the start my equity curve as it's going up. Oh, there is a YouTube video there too. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's videos out. I do it, but that's it. So I've got 3 trades. I'm on 100%. My average return is 279. My total profit is this. And it starts to show you this equity curve. There's a bunch of stuff you can do on it. You can click market replay. I've not even played around with this, but and set this. I don't know how to do it, but there's all sorts of stuff you can do on it. But I like the fact that it keeps track of all my trades. It tells me exactly how my trading is working. And long term, there was a guy, look at some of the videos on YouTube. Long term, there was a guy who found out by looking at his that one of his worst trading days was a Wednesday for some reason. He had most of his losses on a Wednesday. So you just don't know. So he decided to take Wednesdays off. So, you know what I mean? It's got all sorts of stuff. It tells you can get information on what part of the day you're most profitable. Okay, so for the basic package, which is the pro version, it's about $25 a month. But I've got a code on my thing here, UKFT. Why don't get you 50% off? Now, that's the annual subscription. So that would take it down to about $12.50, but you've got to have it over 12 months. That's the downside to that. Otherwise, it's still, you pay $25. So for me, it's part of, and I'm not saying this, I do get some commission from it, absolutely. But I'm not saying buy this one, go get the TradeZeller one, all these other ones. But I think it's important to have one because I'm starting to realise I've got no idea what my win rate is. I've got no idea when I'm more profitable. I might actually look a lot better than I feel. Sometimes you judge yourself and you remember the losses you've had in the week. You don't remember what you had the previous week or the previous week, but having something which can show you can be really useful. So you can download a free version and have a look at it. But if you are interested, if you pay for the annual, you don't pay it in one go. You just sign up for a year, 12 months. And with a 50% off, it works out at $12.50, $12.50, something like that, maybe in a few cents. But, I've had lots of people say, you need to do it. You need to journal. You need to keep track of stuff because I got no idea. Now, companies do this, obviously, for a reason, but it's just something I've never done. So I got no blooming idea of how profitable I am or not. And the trouble is, when I have a bad day, I revenge trade, or I have done in the past. So I might have actually, sometimes when you sit back and go, hold on a minute, my equity curve goes like that. That's actually really good. And I think it can help you not do stupid things because, if your equity curve, goes sort of like that, you might have your bad days. But if your equity curve goes like that, over the space of 12 months or whatever, yeah, you have your days where you have a crap day. But the trouble is we judge ourselves on our bad days. After that bad day, we have a shit weekend. After that bad day, we have a shit weekend. After that bad day, we have a shit weekend. But if you look back on your chart, just after your losses and think, actually, what does the bigger picture tell me about my trading? I'm profitable, look. You know what I mean? So I think it's important for me to start to realise, to know where I am in the system. Am I a good trader? What is my win rate? What is my risk to reward rate and all that sort of stuff. So it's just part of something that I've incorporated into mine. But there's not just that one. There's probably a bunch of them. I'm aware of TradeZeller. The what's it guy uses that. What's his name? The Nutty Bar Trader guy. Another good guy. Spoken to him a few times. Another nice fella. Is 75% the WR for today? 75%. Is 71% the win rate for today? No, sorry. That is the current discount off evaluations. I probably should make that a bit more clear, but yeah. Apex, I trade prop firms Apex, and they've just got an offer on which is 71%. But yeah, I can see how that gets a bit confusing. I'll have to adapt that. But yeah, 71% off all evaluations at the moment. There's my discount code, which is a bit odd. I've never seen 71% a bit more. It's probably the oddest one I've seen, 71%. It does say to the end of the month, but I'm hoping it doesn't last that long before they bring an 80% in, because Sam will tell you, as an affiliate, you get way more people buying evaluations when there's 80 and 90%. The difference between 71% and 90% is tenfold, probably more, 15, 20-fold. And Apex will know that, so I'll be surprised if they keep this 71% going till the end of the month. Okay, so we got a leg down. If we can get another leg down to here and then a higher low, I think this other leg is going to start pushing up. So it's starting to look promising. So the bigger picture for me, as we know, market likes to work in twos. We've got a leg up there. Whether you call this one leg, two legs and another leg up, or whether you call this one big leg, two legs of correction, slowly working up, nice big strong push and the start of another leg. So I think this is our second leg. So whether it works up there remains to be seen. We need to get it up to this first, because that is going to be an area of interest. So there is a higher low there. Trouble is, we're coming into these highs here, so I'd rather let it go a bit further side. I think it's going to continue sideways or break out of this and come back, but this is the area where I want to think about trading it. I'm certainly not getting involved where it is there. I'd like to see something along the lines of that. One push up, leg back, and then another leg up. But I never take this first one. I always wait for the higher low, just to it stops you getting trapped if you wait for that higher low. But it is starting to look quite positive. That's an area where we may have a little bit of a stumble, or may come back a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately, I was hoping it would come closer here before we pushed up some more, which is a bit frustrating. So this is an area we need to get through. Hopefully, if we can break this, we may come back down somewhere around about here, I think. Let me just change that to a proper channel now. Tell you what, let's go from here for the minute. Okay, touch a few times there. If we can get back here, I'd like to maybe react from there. Come back here, bounce, get above it, come back and retest it, and then push up higher. Because there is always the possibility that it could come back down into this channel. Yeah, sometimes I've gone long here, it's triggered me and come back into the channel, so you've got to be aware that that's a possibility as well. So I'd like to get above it, come back and retest it, and then get a higher low, which tells me that it's more likely to carry on up. There's a failure there, actually. So I'll probably trap a few shorts here. I doubt many people are going to go short there. It's not the great looking bar. but I'm not getting involved around here. I want it to break first and then come back, but it may continue up from there. Okay, I like that. That's what I wanted. Come back, bounce, push off, come back, retest, and away we go. Okay, I think we'll do about 10 more minutes. I think I'm getting hungry now. What time was it? 5 o'clock in the UK. See if something comes of this. Ideally, I'd like to push up and break this, and then maybe come back and retest it and try and maybe grab a high-low, but I'm not going to just take it the fact that we're going to go up from here if it does finish bullish, because it may trap you and come down. You just don't know. There is always the possibility. This could just act like the top of a range and it could come down. And sometimes it'll give you a nice little bullish bar there and go up a bit, go up a bit, go up a bit, go up a bit, give you a few chances to get into it, and all of a sudden it turns down and comes down and stops you out. Now, strangely enough, on the 2000 tick chart above, that bar there is already ticked above there. So that's interesting. That is very interesting. Let me just bring that in. So you can see at the moment that hasn't triggered above there. On the chart above my head, you can see it clearly has. That's slightly more bullish, that is, but it's triggered above there. So it's interesting, that. Definitely nice to have a slightly different perspective. I wonder which one's right. Whether you could technically use either or, I don't see why not. It's that much of a minor detail. Whether it make a difference, who knows? In all fairness, if there was another bar and I was going along, I would consider that as a hidden second entry anyway. So the fact that the other one above is a second entry by the count would make no difference to me if I thought that was worth going along. I'm not at the moment because we've bounced a couple of times off there, and I want to give it time to come down, trap some longs and stop them out before I think about going along. I want to wait till we get above this again and retest and start to work before I'm convinced we're going up, and I'm not getting involved here because you could take that and it could trigger you and stop you, and then come down into the range. It's possible. So it's triggered you on the one above it. This one it has now. Okay, so things seem even now. Yeah, sometimes it can trap you and all of a sudden drop really quickly. Yes, mate, just the one. That one there. 2 points. Quick $200. 2 legs back. Nice high low. It's actually the same, but it worked nice. It's a nice trade for me, that was. Working nicely in that channel. 2 legs back. 2 points, just the one. I'm happy getting one a day if that's the way it is. Nice big bullish bar there. That's encouraging. Not a trade I want to take. I'd rather it come back a bit first. So we're above there, so that's positive. You may have taken that, but in all fairness, I'm not sure because we're coming off these highs. It was a failure. Look at that. No stopping that. Okay, we're above this now, so I'd like it to come back and retest this before we go any higher. trend indicator. Trend indicator. You mean this thing here? The leg indicator, is that what you mean? The other. This here, you mean the channel? This thing, you mean? That. Regression channel G. Yes, that one there. This comes as a part of Mac's package. Mac at priceactiontrading.com. It's $125 for the year. And you get all these bits and pieces plus a bunch of other things. But don't you get this with the package anyway? Let's have a look. Yeah, there's one there. You get it there on NinjaTrader. Trend channel. It's slightly different. It reacts slightly different there. But yeah, you get one with NinjaTrader anyway. But I prefer this one. I don't know what the difference is really. It's like that. Yeah, slightly different, but it operates the same. And you got one there with there's a different one there. That's different still. Oh, that's a freaky one. Yeah. Wow, that's a bit trippy. We'll get rid of that. Midline one, yeah, it's a bit freaky, that one, isn't it? Okay, that's what I wanted. I wanted to break above this and come back down and retest it. So if we can get a second entry long here, then I'm quite happy to take that up there. But I wanted it to maybe trap some shorts, push above, come back and retest the top of this line and give us a setup to go long. So hopefully that could be a hidden second entry long. If we can get someone to come down a bit and sit on top of that line, maybe, then I may be interested in that. It's a bit freaky, yeah. It is a bit freaky, that one, isn't it? I've used that before, but I've had a play around with it before, but I still can't figure out how to use it or it will be any useful. But no, all these come with from the Mac system. The news as well. This economic news calendar comes with it, so it shows me what my news is every day. There's a bunch of other things as well. This is my tick counter. It's usually down the bottom here, but I can put it right next to there, and that tells me this tells me how many ticks are in the current bar, and this 7 tells me how many ticks were in the previous bar. And there's just my countdown from 2000 as it's a 2000 tick chart. So I need to get down here there before I think about going long. Chart, yeah. Right, come on, speed up a little bit. Excuse me just a second. Sorry about that. Okay, so it does. We've obviously had a break of this. Come back down. 2 legs to a new high. I like the way we've broken above there. Come back, retest it. I expect to go up to close down that gap, which is about 5 or 6 points where we are now. So come on. Yeah, see, it looks different. Very different, that does. Let's bring that in. Yeah, look at the end here. There to here, look, it's completely different. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles. You've got a doji, 1 red candle, 1 green. So it does look different. So I suppose what do? Just pick the best looking one, do you? I suppose. I suppose so. Oh, well. So let's have a look. So we touched here, touched here, touched here. I'm happy that's working. We've got a leg up there. I expect another leg up. Trouble is, I want a proper setup here. Otherwise, I'm just not taking it because I've done it before and I've got shafted. So there's that one there. So that's going to take us, depending on whether you went from here, certainly quite a bit higher anyway. So there's a target. There's a target. I would expect to break the highs of the day there. Well, depends whether you call that the high of the day. Did the market actually open and create a bar then drop? Does that? I can't remember whether that's classed as the open. Perhaps it opened there and obviously everyone's sold. Obviously with all the stuff happening in Israel over the weekend, which caused that. How far did that go down? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 points. Oh, it's Friday's bar, is it? Okay, excellent. So as the market opened, down it went. So if you were in a trade over the weekend, you were short. I think you did well out of it. But obviously, trading with scalpers or trading with Apex, we don't have that option for weekend, which is probably a good thing. Yeah, but I have heard of traders being in trades over the weekend and they wake up and the market drops in their favour or goes up in their favour and they make a killing. Because still a lot of traders trade without a stop loss. Obviously, we trade, or Pats, we trade with a stop loss. It's important, really, just in case things turn ugly. Okay, so we may be going a fraction sideways here, so I'm just going to be a little bit cautious. I want it to come down here. I'd rather maybe trap some longs, push up, come down, stop them out, give us something bullish and continue on up. But it's going a bit sideways, so that makes it a bit more a little bit. So I don't want to get in any of those bars there. I'm just going to see this out, see what happens, and then I'm going to knock out the end of the day. I'm quite happy with $200 up. Nice quick 2 points. What's your TP on that trade? What's my take profit on that trade? Is that what you mean? 2 points, $200. I think that's what you mean. Now, at the moment, I've got multiple accounts coming in tomorrow, so if I'd have had those other 3 accounts, that would have been $800 up today. So I've got 3 more. Target. Yeah, it was just 2 points, quick 2 points there. There was more available, but I just didn't want to push my luck there. So where did I get in? Yeah, got in here. Literally on that close. I wait for that to close, wait for it to trigger up and drop my order in there, and just came out there for 2 points. Obviously, it went up another 3, maybe 2, 3. I don't think this is going to come back, unfortunately. Come on. That's a shame. I don't think that's going to hang around. I was hoping we may trigger above there and come back and maybe have one last bounce before we pushed up. Unfortunately, there's no setup for us really there, which is a shame. It's too late now. Okay, I'm going to knock it on the knock it on the head there. Knock it on the head there, folks. So one trade, I'm happy with that. Nice and straightforward. Nice setup, 2 legs back, really nice bar, pushed up nice, just did everything it was supposed to do. So we are coming back up to that. We've closed that gap down now, so we're about there any second now. So that's what I expected. I think it's likely we got a channel up there. I think this big channel is not looking too bad. It might be a spiking channel, but then we got a leg and a leg, 2 legs of correction and another leg up. So I think we're going to make it up to there. I'd like to see it. Now it's hit that, maybe come back down again and retest. Maybe I was hoping we are going to get retest the tops of these, but it depends. Once it's up there, it might just keep going. I've got no idea. So, actually, in all fairness, there's definitely less volume today. Usually I have trouble, being able to open the candles up like that and fitting it on my chart. So the volume is a little lower. It is Columbus Day in the US, so there may be some people taking today as a holiday, so volume is a little low. Obviously that what's been happening in Israel over the weekend caused that market to gap down like that. So whether that's made trading a little bit sideways and a little bit slow, possibly. We haven't moved up, but we've done quite a bit of sideways. We pushed up a bit, had some sideways, pushed up a bit, so it's been a little bit sort of awkward at times. It's definitely been a bit slow, but there's definitely less volume. So there you go, one trade. I'm happy with that. As long as I can end the day on green, that's a result for me. One nice trade, 2 points. Pretty standard, nice trade. Nothing too complicated about it, and up we went. So beautiful. So that's it for today, folks. I will be back on tomorrow, Tuesday the 10th of the 10th. And we'll do it all again. Be interested to see what happens. Whether we gap down again or whatever. Obviously, it depends on what happens now. It's obviously all going on around about Israel and Gaza at the moment. So that's obviously why I'm assuming we had that. There's no other reason which would be. So there you go. So appreciate all your comments. So you've all had a green day. Stay safe, you, my friend, as well. Yeah. So have a great evening. If you carry on trading, good luck. I hope you get some green today. So take it easy, and I'll be back same time tomorrow. Bye for now.